Hi guys, and welcome to the Hurtful Trxth Podcast. We got my friend, Garrett Campbell, really big in high ticket sales. I don't know everything about you, bro, but I know enough to know that you know what you're doing, and that's all that really matters. And you're a cool guy, so that's why I had to get you on the podcast. I want you to tell us your own introduction of yourself, so I don't say anything in a different way than you'd rather be introduced, So
Yeah.
Go ahead, who are you, man? Why should we listen to you?
That's valid. Let's do it. Yeah. So long story short, grew up in a very small town in Illinois. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 people. It's very blue collar, rural, small town USA type town. And yeah, we grew up pretty middle class, but I just knew as a whole that I wanted to help people. And I don't know. I just looked around and I'm like, everyone doesn't seem happy. I just see people kind of dragging their feet and look mellow. And I'm like, why the fuck are you not full of life? I'm ecstatic. Why is everyone not just jumping out of their shoes, happy as fuck all day? That bothers me.
Yeah.
And what I saw just in the little bubble that I lived in, the happiest people had money, and it doesn't mean that money equals happiness, but it plays a damn factor. So I'm like, how do I make money? And how do I make money and then also really help people better themselves and feel good? And I was always adjusted by a chiropractor as a baby. So I was like, okay, someone comes with a problem and then they come out smiling and they're walking all fine and they feel great. And I'm like, this is dope. I've seen this transformation happen for the past 10 years. This is what I'm going to do. So from fifth grade on to my second year of college, I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Are you serious? You actually were going to be a chiropractor?
Swear to God. Yeah, I was
what's crazy is I was going to do the same thing.
No way. Yeah, dude.
I was at school for it and everything.
Yeah, I was in my sophomore year of college, and I was going for kinesiology and biology. Had
Me too.
Planning on either going to Logan Chiropractic in St. Louis or Miami Life Chiropractic. And I had a professor. I was maybe a tad hungover in lecture for anatomy and physiology too. And she lightly mentioned that she was a chiropractor. And I was like, whoa, what? She used to be a chiropractor? This is sick. So we had 300 people in the auditorium. The second that everyone left, I ran down there and I'm like, okay, you used to be a chiropractor. Now you're a teacher. How was your experience doing that? And then now you teach. So what's up with that? And she got all red faced and she was like, yeah. So I didn't want to work for another chiropractor, one of my own business. And I was like, hell yeah, me too. And then she was like, but I knew everything about how to crack a back, the biology, what to do, everything. I knew how to treat a client. What I didn't know was the business side of things. So I didn't know how to get people to come into my business. And the few people that did, I didn't know how to get them to give me money. So I couldn't pay rent and now I teach. And I was like, holy shit. I thought you just get the degree and then Google says average salary $150K a year. So you just get the degree $150K a year. I didn't understand that which obviously now hindsight 2020, no shit, you have to get people to pay you to do the thing. That makes sense. But being 18, I'm like, oh, that's how it works. So I was like, whoa, I need to figure out this business stuff. How do you make money? So I called every rich person I knew, and rich as in they just they have something going on?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I didn't know too many. And I'm like, how do I make money? And they're like, bro, just get into sales. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing. I'm not getting into sales. And then I call another guy and he's like, bro, just get into sales. And then the fourth guy, and I'm like, fuck, okay, I can't ignore this, but I'm still going to be my own boss. So I was like, I'll flip shoes. So I flipped Jordans and Yeezys and designer clothes and Gucci belts and stuff. And that was cool. We did it for a bit. Everyone in my college, which I dropped out about 3 weeks after that conversation with the professor, just for context. Yeah, that happened fast. So I was flipping shoes and I made something, and I'm like, my first flip, I made $1,500 on a pair of strawberry coughs. Wow. If you guys care to know, which was pretty cool. It was I bought it for $2K and I sold them for $3,500 within 48 hours. And I'm like, all right, we got something going on here. And then I just started flipping shoes like a madman, and I didn't know much about shoes at all. All I knew is that the guys that went to my college were always buying Jordans and Yeezys. So I'm like, all right, I'll sell those. And then I got scammed on a pair of Chicago Off-White Jordan 1s and for like $2,500. And at the time, that was like literally all the money that I had to my name. I put them all in one pair of shoes to flip them because I was going to I had a buyer lined up for like $4,000. I'm like, okay, I'll make another $1,500. That'll pay rent for like 3 months. Like I'm Gucci. And then they ended up being fake and I had no money. And bro, I literally just cried my eyes out of my bed. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Cause like I had to pay rent. I had bills to pay. Like I had rent due the next day, like $0 in my bank.
So how old were you at this point, man?
19.
So you had just like kind of fresh out of, you said you went to college right after high school, I'm assuming, like when you were 18. And it was at what college again?
ISU, Illinois State University, is like 2 hours south of Chicago.
Yeah, we're in the same time zone too, bro. So someday we're gonna meet.
Yeah.
But it's funny you said hindsight is 2020 because I literally wrote that down as one of the things I was gonna say.
Oh, that's sick.
Pretty crazy. So I was gonna ask you, what would you actually, before I get into all that, continue the story, the origin story, man. This is
absolutely. So lost everything to that one fake pair of shoes, which is honestly one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. Because I'm like, okay, like maybe I learned that I'm not a business owner and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So maybe all the rich people who have way more money than me and more experience than me were right. So my girlfriend was actually in like network marketing and like she had this like one sales trainer guy that was like on one of their calls and she's like, hey babe, like listen to this. And I was like, okay. And I listened to it and I'm like, whoa, like this guy's got it going on. Like this guy kind of knows like what he's talking about. He's like, I've done like 40 million in sales and this and that. And he was like a younger guy in his 20s. He's like verified on Instagram, followers, the whole shebang. And I was like, I really idolized this guy because he was intelligent. Like he knew how to sell. I mean, he had a sales agency. And like a week later, I followed the guy on Instagram immediately after learning because I learned a ton. And I'm like, okay, maybe I just wasn't good at sales or maybe I was selling the wrong thing. Like maybe it wasn't that what I was doing was the problem. So I was on his Instagram live and he was doing a Q&A with like 600 people. And it was like requesting up to speak, but there were 600 people, bro. And he's like 1 million followers or something. So like, there's no way he's actually going to pick me. So I was hitting requests, but bro, I'm like laying in bed, like about to fall asleep, like lights are off and everything. And my screen starts loading and I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? So I flipped on my lights. I'm like fixing my hair and I'm like, dude, like you make a lot of money. Like you're so much further ahead than me. And like, I have so much learned from you. Like I really look up to you. And like, I know you make your clients a lot of money and like, I want to help you make more money. Are you hiring salespeople? And he was like, kind of like took him back. And he was like, dude, if you have the balls to ask me for a sales job in front of 600 people, like you could probably take a no on like a sales call. So like, sure. Like DM me, dude, like we'll figure something out. I got the job. And it was not the best sales job in the world. I would literally get a Google sheet with like name, phone number, and they're like, call like 200 people a day. And I'm like, okay, so that's what I did. 200 people a day, 150 people a day or so every single day, 7 days a week, 13 hours a day, for like probably 6 months, I would say. And I wasn't phenomenal, but I learned a lot. And I worked with one of their clients in particular. It was Ty Lopez, which I'm sure you guys have maybe heard of.
I'm in my garage.
Yeah, bro. I was closing people on the back end of those, just sitting here in my garage ads. So cool thing was I sucked at first, but I got good as I did more reps. And there was one guy there that I was kind of on their worst client. And then as I got better, they put me on better and better contracts and moved me from like setter to closer and stuff. But I had one guy who was at that agency who he was making $42,000 a month closing for Ty. And I was making like $4,000 a month. And I'm like, bro, like, can you just review one of my sales calls every single day for an hour? And then we'll get on the call and like talk about it. And he was like, fuck no, dude. Like, I'm busy. I'm trying to make money. And I was like, can I pay you? And he was like, 10 grand. And I'm like, dude, like, work with me, bro. Like I'm broke. Like I don't got much going on. Which broke is relative, but I had like a couple grand in my name. I didn't have much. And I was like, okay, just like, well, can we do 4 calls? And it was like, sure. And like, we worked out a price. I don't even remember what it was, like $1,500 or $2,000 or something. And I did it. And like, I just had hockey stick growth. I got so much better, from learning from him. Cause I was like, bro, like you're calling the same people for the same offer. you make 42,000 a month. I make 4. Like, that's like over a 10x difference. Like, clearly I'm just not good. So he trained me a little bit. I got so much better. And then I eventually just started selling more expensive stuff to warmer leads and getting on more calls with warmer leads. Cause like, if you want to make more money in sales, you just sell more expensive shit. Like, you talk to more people, or the people that you talk to, like, more of them buy. Like,
so how much did you pay him again? Like
$2,000 or something for like 4 calls.
Okay. That's pretty, like, he reviewed 4 calls. Or you had 4 calls with him.
4 calls in total, so I could do whatever I wanted on the call. So like, first thing I did was I wanted to
one-on-one calls with him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I had him review one of my calls, and he just like ripped it apart. And I'm like, bro, I'm like so not good. And then I was like, can you send me one of your call recordings? And I'm like, whoa, like, we're saying the same words, but it's so much different. Like, his tonality, like, everything was different. Like, I didn't always talk like this. It was kind of just manufactured over the years of being on so many sales calls. But yeah, I learned a ton from him. And then I left that agency, and then I started selling better and better offers. And I've sold, like, dude, like, marketing services, like SBA loans, like consulting offers, coaching offers, like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, email marketing, credit repair stuff. Like, I've sold so many different services, financial consulting, a bulk of it. And then, fast forward, 3 years of just grinding out calls. And I obviously scaled from, $5K a month to $10K a month to $15K, $20K, $25K, 30, like 25, 30-ish K was kind of where I hit as like a closer. And then I was just posting on Twitter, like, I took like 5 calls a day. I closed like 4, like 28K in sales, and I made like $2,800 in commission. And then all of a sudden I had all these like business owners trying to like recruit me to get me to sell for them. And I'm like, no, bro, like, I'm doing 20, 25K a month. Like, fuck off. Like, I'm making good money. So I'm just like turning down all these businesses trying to hire me. And all these sales guys were like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, how do you have a 65% close rate like this month? Like, how is that possible? I'm like, I don't, like, this is what I'm doing. So I started tweeting, like, kind of like, here's how I handled this objection, and here's how I did this. And like, people loved it. And I just kept turning down all these businesses and all this stuff. And then eventually my friend Carlos, he's in the Closing Bible, he had this NFT like agency to where he would like basically do community management for them. He's like, hey, dude, like, I know you're killer at sales. And like, we were friends at the time. He was like, I have this thing going on, and I just don't know what I'm doing wrong, but we've hopped on a couple calls and I just haven't closed a deal. And I was like, okay, like, I'll help. Like, let me send me your sales script, send me your call recordings. Let's hop on a couple calls. Like, I'll figure it out. I was like, I'll help this dude. He's a friend of mine. And I was like, bro, you need to change this. We hopped on calls and stuff. I gave him rewrote a script for him and everything. And then he texts me and he's like, yo, bro, I just closed like $100,000 deal. And I was like, oh, cool. And then he's like, text me the next day, yo, bro, I just closed another $100,000 deal. And he texts me again. And he's like, yo, bro, I just closed a 50K deal. And then like,
how much is he making off these? Like,
it was his business. So he made $500,000 within 90 days of working with me. And he's like, bro, like, you kind of know the sales training thing. And then I was like, okay. And I'm like, all these businesses want good salespeople. Like, clearly my sales training worked. Like, I know I'm good at sales. I know. So I was like, okay, that's kind of how my business was birthed. Just everyone was asking me for stuff. And I'm like, I guess I'll like stop turning you down, and like, you can pay me
almost
to do it.
Like you're like a middleman, but at the same time, you're not, like, you're also helping them so much anyway.
Yeah.
It's so it's like crazy. You got to explain to them what the Closing Bible is, because they don't even know yet.
Yeah. So basically what the Closing Bible is what you just heard, kind of. So it's like all these people that want to level up their sales game. Like, we have a sales training, and then we have a pipeline of all these business owners that have opportunities. Like, the average business we work with is about $550,000 a month, which means they're paying out $55,000 a month in commissions to salespeople, which all the guys who've gone through the sales training can get access to all these opportunities and start making, good cash, like working from home, like remote, like sales gigs. So
and people are going to say this is a scam because you say you can guarantee placement, but the truth is, like, you actually are very intentional about who you even let in. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, also, the reason why it's not scammy is, if you think about it, he's making money from getting people in roles, because the people he gets paid from the company in the first place just for giving them good people, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So right now we do the placement entirely for free on the business owner side. Like we'll 1,000% charge in the future. Like I've had some people pay me just because like, yo, this guy like overperformed. Like we want to pay you. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, we charge for the sales training. Like we 1,000% do. And that comes with a guaranteed placement. So like on average, like clients are making their full money back within about a 45-day span. Which is pretty fucking impressive. So
it's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You're changing people's lives like on another level. And
Yeah.
I really respect you, bro, on another level.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty much my story and how the whole business got started and my whole background.
So you explained warm leads. I want you to tell them what a lead is and what's a cold lead and what's a warm lead.
Yeah. So a lead is literally just like they have an interest in the thing that you sell, right? So if you're like a marketing agency or something, and like they're like, hey, we want more book calls, like whether that's a DM or they email you or they text you or something, like that is now a lead, right? So a cold lead is like, I don't know who the hell you are. Like, I don't know who you are, but I could maybe benefit from your service. So when you guys hear like cold calls, like that is like determining like how close they are to making a buying decision with you. The further they are means they're cold. The closer they are means they're hot, right? So a cold lead is like, I don't know who this Blake dude is, but I want him to like mix my song or something. Like I do music and it would be cool if someone would mix it, but I don't know who this Blake guy is. That's like a cold lead. A hot lead is like, I've been listening to all of Blake's music. This guy's a killer. Like, I need your beats. Can you please, like, how much is it? Like, I'll do it now. Like, I'll pay you. That's like a hot lead. So yeah.
Exactly. So what's the next thing? I'm going to go into, this is something really important that I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but it goes for not only like relationships as a man, but well, really all of sales goes with relationships. I was going to go into that later, but the fear of rejection, man. Why is that so important to get rid of that fear of rejection?
Yeah, that's good. It's something I struggled with in my earlier days, and you're calling 200 cold leads every day, like you figure it out for sure. But you have to get over it, dude, because you just can't take it personal. Like I was selling, like the one of the first things I did was we were like building e-commerce websites for people. Like that's what we were doing. So I had people like tell me like, dude, fuck you. Like, who is this? Like, don't call me, like take me off your list or whatever. And it really bothered me at first, but then I'm like, they're saying like, fuck you. It's saying like, I'm not interested or I don't want to do this because they don't want to do the thing that I'm talking about. They don't personally have a problem with me. So I think having the separation from them saying no to the thing that you're selling or doing and me as a human being are two very different things.
Yeah. They don't even know you really most of the time.
No, they like, and even if they do, even if it's like a super warm lead that I'm talking about, or you're just a sales guy and someone comes off rude or says no, like if you do marketing for like pizza places and they say, no, I think your service is too expensive. Like, I don't cry. I'm like, they don't have the money. Like that's, of course you can do sales stuff to, make them pay and stuff, but like, it's just the separation of, they're not saying no to me. They're saying no to my thing. Right. Yeah. And that's very different. Like,
and you can't get too caught up about what other people think about you. Even like, I know for me, one of the biggest things once I became so respecting of myself, like I know my value and all, it blows my mind when people don't see my value. I had to kind of separate my feelings from that whenever other people don't see my value. You just have to get over it, man. Get over it. And everyone's going to understand.
If anyone's talking down on you, it's a good leading indicator that you're in front of them. Like no one looks backwards and talks shit. So like when I see someone like, where I've been trash talk for people that make $1 million a month, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm catching up. Like I'm on the right path. Like when I hear people talking shit about me, I'm like, oh dang, I didn't know I was ahead of him, but now I know.
Because you're on their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So like if I hear people talking, I'm like, oh wow, I'm just light years ahead of them for sure.
I mean, those burner accounts that comment on people's accounts and they'll just comment some troll stuff. No one really talks about them, right? No one cares. We just like move on. But whenever, obviously you're not gonna give them all this attention unless you actually care about their opinion.
Absolutely. This happened to me like 3 weeks ago on Twitter. There's a guy that I have blocked was like talking shit on my posts. And I was like, do I feel really bad for this guy? Like in his core, like I hope like internally, like he starts feeling better. Cause like to like look and spew hate on a social media app for someone that you don't genuinely know at all, like is probably a good leading indicator that they're not happy inside. And like, I hope that gets better. Like, I don't think
the same thing happened to me. So I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff, man. So my next question, man, is how do you stay focused? Cause I know you got a lot going on. There's no way it isn't difficult sometimes to keep right on track. So what's your like, I guess, your method of staying focused?
Yeah. It's kind of hard now because like it's like my default setting, which maybe sounds arrogant or whatever, but like it really is. Like I was working until 3 a.m. last night on like a Sunday night. Like I just enjoy it. But I think you have different drivers of like focus. Like at first, like I just had very like in my childhood, like fears around not having money. So I think I was just running away from that fear, like with speed. And that's what it was for the longest time. And then I kind of like looked up and I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry anymore. Like, what's the driver now? And it like kind of like I was mentally fucked up for like a bit trying to like figure this out. Cause I'm like I'm good. Like I could not make money for 2 years and like pay everything and be fine. Like,
yeah, that's insane, bro. That's
so
insane.
now I'm like, what's the driver? And it's just like helping people, dude. And it's like supporting people and helping propel people forward that does it for me now. Like I gave my parents like a good chunk of money for their mortgage for Christmas. Like that's what's dope to me now. It's like, okay, like I'm good, but like the people around me maybe aren't. So it's like putting my girl on and like making sure she's making a lot of money. It's like making sure like my little brother is like set. Like it's making sure like my parents can like have their mortgage paid off. So like they don't have to work hard anymore. Like it's stuff like that now.
Respect, bro. I like that.
So anytime I have the decision of like, I could probably just like chill and like, go get drinks with my buddies. I'm like, so is that me saying that like I want my 53-year-old dad to keep like grinding out 12-hour days with construction? Is that what I'm saying right now? And then I'm like, fuck no. And then I keep working. So
it's those drivers, man. But do you do anything to like plan your day out? I know you do, but I mean, what is the way that you plan your day out in order to stay on task?
Yeah, I mean, I live off of Google Calendar. Like, bro, if it's not on there, it's just not gonna happen. So, like,
you've been brushing your teeth, bro.
I mean, yeah, I'll do that one on autopilot now, but but yeah, like if it's on my calendar, it happens. If it doesn't, if it's not there, it's probably not gonna happen. Like I'm very conscious of my time. Because no matter how much money you have or how successful you are, how many things, whatever, you still only have 24 hours in a day. So you have to be very protective of your time, and value your time at a high rate. So yeah, there's really no like crazy hacks or anything. I mean, like I have a team now that I've hired to do stuff. Like we were just talking earlier before this. I'm like, yo, I have a video editor. Like we'll clip up like 20 clips from this and I'll shoot it over to you. Like, so it's
sick.
Yeah,
man. So I know you have a personal trainer. Do you want to talk about that too?
Yeah. I was big. So like I played like football, basketball, baseball, like year round. Like from the time I was literally in like kindergarten to like I graduated high school. So like I had a very deep competitive nature. And then that competitive nature, once I left high school, like, I mean, that turned into partying. Like that was, I had quite a degenerate phase for a little bit there, year and a half or so. But, and then that converted into like business and like making money, like sales and everything. So, I had that competitive nature, but since like lifting was the thing that like got me good at football and basketball and baseball. So now that like lifting didn't equate to like, more money or something in like the business realm, it was just like put on the back burner by me. But then once I started taking my health seriously again, I saw how much more productive I was by like eating good food and like lifting and like being in good shape and stuff. So I was like, whatever, like that's all foo-foo, like woo shit. Like that's stupid. Like I'm just going to work. Like they don't know what they're talking about.
And that's what I was going to say about the lifting. I was like, well, technically it does affect.
Oh, no, it was literally just, I was wrong. And that's all it was because when I moved to Miami from Illinois, I did 75 hard and I lost like 12 pounds in like 2.5 months. Like lost a bunch of weight, like gained a bunch of muscle, like jumped a bunch of weight on my lifts, like could run way further. And I made a bunch of money in that 2.5 month span of time. So I'm like, okay, there's clearly a correlation. So I feel like I generally know what I'm doing in the gym, but I think it's more the accountability sense of like my gym's in my apartment complex. So like Monday through Friday at noon, someone's in my lobby saying, yo, bro, like, let's go. Like, so I can't just be like, nah, I'm not lifting today. It's like, there's a person waiting. So
that's helpful.
The accountability helps.
That's also another thing that helps is that competition, like just friendly competition of having someone else you see they're doing it. And it's like, all right, I have to do it or I'm failing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was going to ask you, what are your like healthiest habits that you have?
I don't eat fast food at all.
That's a good move.
I don't really drink, like maybe once every like 6 weeks. Like if someone's in the city or like something's happening, like sure, but like it's not like my default. Like, oh, today's Thursday, like got to go out.
Seems like a lot of sales guys like to drink.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
In your experience,
I think a lot of people that are young and making a lot of money like to drink for sure. And that tends to be salespeopeople. So yeah, I definitely see that being common. I think I also have a girlfriend, so like that kind of helps me like calm down a little bit.
Wait, you said you think you have a girlfriend.
I 1,000% have a girlfriend. Okay, I think having a girlfriend is the reason why I drink less. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, like I eat pretty clean. But I'm no, health guru. I could 1,000% be way healthier. But just getting sunlight, like running, like don't put shitty stuff in your mouth is always good.
Yes. It changes for me and anyone, it's going to change your entire body, your mind, everything about your life changes based on what you consume. I was going to go into that too. Like whatever you consume, whether it's media, whether it's food, whether it's what you pay attention to in general, where you're putting your energy, all that stuff affects your brain and you're conditioning your mind. So
absolutely. Yeah. If I could give you guys something actionable, if you're listening right now, like 3 audits that you should do right now is number 1, audit your calendar, audit your media, like intake, and then audit your circle. So like right now, like your calendar, number 1 is in like, you're not fucking doing anything, like you're not going to make any progress. Like it doesn't matter what you're striving towards. Like if money isn't your driver, that's fine. Like I don't care if you're passionate about like fucking hiking, or like if you're passionate about like lifting, or you're passionate about like basketball. Like be the best hiker, be the best basketball player, be the best like music producer, be the best whatever that thing is. Like go hard at it, because if you're striving and making progressions, no matter what, the human brain like feeds off of that, and that's what makes you better in all other areas. So like spend your time improving at something, no matter what it is.
And don't get caught up whenever you're thinking I'm going to be the best. Don't get caught up on the fact that you aren't, because you have to just keep striving to be the best. That's what I've learned, because I always wanted to be the best musician, the best everything really that I do, just like you're saying. And I had to realize, like, it just makes me mad. Sometimes that just slows me down. So
yeah,
but you have to strive for it 100%, and then you have to feel like you are the best in advance. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you kind of need like micro like impatience, but like macro patience. I think fucking
that's
Gary
a good quote. Did you make that up?
I think Gary Vee said it. But it's very valid. Like you need to be like sprinting the sprint and like jogging like the marathon. It's like
funny because my quote was impatiently working, patiently waiting, or I said it the other way around: patiently waiting, impatiently working. That's my quote.
Yeah, but I think it's very valid, because like as I reflect on like the whole like sales journey, of course, like bro, I didn't take a day off. Like I would literally wake up at like 6 a.m. And I was calling everyone in the East Coast and everyone from Europe because it wasn't that early for them. And then when it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and like it's pitch black outside, and I'm in my shitty like $400 a month apartment, I'm calling everyone from California because I was in central time zones. It was a little bit earlier for them. Literally waking people up out of the sleep to call them because I was like so hungry. And I knew I sucked. Like I knew I did. But I knew that with each rep I did, I would suck a little bit less. And then I'm like, I don't care how much I make this month. What I care is that maybe the money's not compounding, but the skill is. And I know that longer term, the skill will compound faster than the money. And then soon the money will compound faster than the skill. And it kind of took time of reps and like the macro patience to know that I was going to reap, all the work that I did. Like eventually the money would kind of follow. And I think that's really what drove me when I had nothing. And then as far as like the auditing, like your input, like, bro, I haven't watched the news in like fucking 5 years, like 4 years. I don't know what's happening, or like their little weather balloon or something. Like, bro, like it's just stop digesting it. Because one thing I learned from chiropractic is that your body always sits in sympathetic or parasympathetic at all times, which is basically ignore all the fucking lingo. It's fight or flight. So what you don't understand is when you're seeing, which we don't have to go into the whole COVID fucking thing, but like, Jesus Christ.
Not trying to get canceled right now.
Yeah. But like, 300 people died in this shooting, and all these people are sick, and this mentally ill person just shot up this school, and like, like this person just got stabbed, and this car crash just happened.
It's all negative, bro. Honestly, and if it isn't negative, it's all their agenda. It's all their agenda. And that's all they care about spreading, is they're trying to keep you negative. They're trying to keep you in the system of just functioning how they want you to function. I wish more people were aware of that, but also it's kind of part of the game.
Yeah, that's why there's the 1% and there's the 99%. Like, exactly. Unfortunately, the bulk of the population will do the thing that doesn't benefit them. And that's what you need to do, what most people don't do. And so whether that's like even that's like your freaking TikTok feed, like if it's girls like shaking ass and like stupid fucking videos, like it's cool to like entertain yourself and everything, but like you also shouldn't digest stuff that doesn't serve you. Like I'm all for having fun. Like I watch comedy shows, like I'm not a fucking robot. But like, you shouldn't watch negative things. Like you shouldn't be like digesting stuff about people cheating if you want a healthy relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're like trying to be happy, you shouldn't be watching videos about car crashes and fights and death. Like you should be watching happy things happening. And like, if you look at your life and your circumstances and the place you live and the people that you're with and what you consume, it likely is just a mirror of how you feel internally. And I think it takes a deep look inside to understand that I need to digest new things if I want my insides to change. And then that in turn will like reflect out and change your exterior too.
Exactly. And I wanted to bring up, because you brought it up kind of, but a lot of people don't do the basic things before they're so focused on these advanced things. They make it too complex, but they don't even, let's say I'm fat, right? I'm fat, but I'm always drinking milkshakes. I'm always eating cookies, and I'm never going to the gym, but I'm just complaining about it. A lot of people don't even do the basics. Like at least stop drinking soda, or at least stop doing that. So that's why I brought it up, because you kind of talked about that with a lot of people just watch the news. They want a healthy relationship, yet they're going and watching all this stuff that's horrible for the relationship. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. But another thing was algorithm tips I wanted to bring up, because a lot of people don't realize that the algorithm is only giving you stuff that it thinks you want to see. So you have to show it what you want. And it's your fault if you keep having all this horrible stuff pop up on your timeline. Because whenever it pops up on your timeline, it's because you showed it that you like it. And a lot of people blame the social media, but truly it's your fault.
Yeah, absolutely. Like and I even train the algorithm like on purpose. Like if you're reactive to it, like it's gonna like fucking run your brain. Like these algorithms are freaking aggressive. It's because like they feed off of knowing as much about your interests as physically possible, so they can put the right ads in front of your face to buy your shit. Like that's how they make money.
Yep.
Like,
and your sales training, you actually talked about this, and I was blown away that you actually knew, because I've actually made an entire tweet thread about that. But not many people talk about this, about the algorithm, how you can actually use it to find stuff that you want to see. So even if it's like business, if I was making a new account, it's got no past history of what it knows I like. So it's going to go off of what I seem to like. So I could immediately, let's say I want a job in marketing. That's what you brought up. If I wanted a job in marketing, I'd look at only marketing jobs. I'd only look at marketing people. And boom, it just starts showing you stuff on your explore page. I mean, if you even do it right now, if you go on your explore page on Instagram and just start liking the same type of photo every time and then refresh, it's going to start boom, boom, boom. There they all are. So
yeah.
That's a secret right there. All right. So another thing, what are your biggest qualities that you think it takes to be successful in a business environment specifically?
Self-awareness, which I think isn't talked about as much as it should be.
That's crazy because I literally wrote that one down. So
I think being self-aware is extremely important skill to have. Most importantly, because you need to know what you're good at and what you suck at. Like the fat girl or fat guy, girl, whatever, doesn't matter. That's like eating cookies and smoothies or like shakes or whatever, like you were saying earlier. Like you have to know not only that you are fat, but also that you are fat because of your actions. Like it's not genetics, it's not this, it's not that. It's because you put bad things in your mouth instead of good things in your mouth. Like that is it. Like it's inputs and outputs. And I think it takes a different skill set to be able to like remove your feelings from the equation and just look at the facts. And then make decisions based upon that. Like if you don't have any money,
hurtful truth right there.
It is hurtful truth, right? That's the name of the whole. That's the name of the game, right? So, like, it's self-awareness to know these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I'm bad at. Like I have the closing Bible. Like I think a lot of people can be good at sales. I don't think 1,000% like every single person can be great at sales. Like if you're naturally more like techie and like you don't resonate or strive the best in settings where it's like social. Yeah. Like I mean, number one, I used to have literally like social anxiety attacks, so like you could still do it. But secondly, like maybe you would do better in IT. Like maybe you would do better as like a software developer. Like I think it takes being self-aware to understand what you're good and bad at, and then also how to leverage your strengths to get what you deserve in life.
Absolutely, bro. And like you said, you used to be bad at it in social situations. I used to be bad at it in social situations. And now look, both of us are having a conversation. Perfectly fine. I'm just saying, it's like I used to be shy, or I think honestly most of it was just fear of rejection. If that's a different type of rejection, maybe like just someone not liking you, or I don't know what it was 100%, but I know that I wasn't as experienced, and probably that's all it was. But now look at us. I mean, people don't understand. You got to build the skill before you can expect to just be so good at everything. A lot of people, they don't even try to build the skill. They think that the talent shows before the skill. I think the talent shows after the skill is built.
Yeah, I agree.
Most of the time.
Like you will suck at the first thing that you do. Like the first time you do something, like erase your ego. You're gonna fucking suck. Like you might be a tad better than someone else at the thing of their first time doing it based on a tad bit of talent, but like have the expectation that you're gonna suck. Like don't do a thing for the first time ever, like drop shipping, or like, I don't know if this is mostly entrepreneurs that listen to this or whatever, but it's like, whatever the thing is that you're doing for the first time I rode a bike, I fell on my fucking face and I'm like, never done this before. Like that's to be expected. Right. Yep. But what can you do to get better at the thing? Like number one, you could do it more. And then number two, you could spend time with people that are better at it than you. And then you can learn what they're doing differently. And then suddenly you will become better at the thing. Right. So that's what I do at all times. I've spent like over $200,000 on different courses and coaches and mentorships and masterminds and all that fun stuff. I'm going to one tomorrow that I spent $15,000 on. You know why? Because like there's shit I don't know. And like,
you want to say who that is or no?
I can't legally, so I
All
won't.
right, so we'll wait. Another day.
Another
It'll come
day.
out someday, maybe. But it's a big one. I'm
It's a big
honestly,
one.
it's pretty crazy.
You know who it is.
Yeah, I know. Find the problem and face your problem. That's the thing. We all got flaws, even me. And as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not perfect. And you gotta face it. And if you don't face it, you'll never fix it. So that's the thing about me, is I'm always trying to analyze what I'm doing wrong, even if it doesn't seem like it. And that's how you get ahead, because a lot of people don't do that, honestly.
No, and that's, by the way, a really good quality to have. Like, I am internally pretty fucking secure. Like, genuinely. Like, obviously I have confidence because I have a trail of things that I've done that would lead me to believe that, like, I know a thing or two, right? But it's interesting to me. Like, I know, like, I have clients that make $250 million a year, and I talk to them about this and they say the same shit. They're like, bro, like it's almost like, I don't know how to explain this, but there's like a sphere that you have around you as a human being. And as your ego gets bigger, because you have a trail of evidence that would lead you to believe that you're good at doing something or whatever, like good at, as a person, whatever, you also have this opposing force, which is insecurity. And as you do more, the insecurity gets bigger alongside the ego. And I think, like, most successful people as a whole are working so hard because they're like trying to beat this opposing force of insecurity with so much like strength that it's like irrefuted, like indisputed anymore. Like Drake says, like, you know, it's real when you are who you say you are. Like, not that I'm fucking Drake by any means, but like, I have so much like I don't even think about, oh, we're making this much money, or this is good, or this is good. Like, I can't even see that. I'm seeing everything that could be better. So I'm working till 3 a.m. because I'm like, this needs fixing, this needs fixing, this could be better, and this could be better. And then I'm not even looking at the things that are actually good because I'm innately secure and I want to fix everything that's bad. And I just, like, at new levels, new problems arise. And then you have to solve those problems, and then new problems arise. And it never stops. And that's what growth is. So I think
an interesting take, bro, the opposing forces, because my whole thing is the yin yang symbol. I'm actually going to have that tatted because it's just the polarity of two things, completely opposite.
Duality of life.
Yeah, what you said, the duality of life. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Everything's opposing forces, good and bad, whatever it is. There's always opposing forces. You need the one to have the other, and it creates balance. That's the thing. What do you think your biggest insecurity is?
Just basic, not being good enough. Like, not being good enough. That's really it. Like, I think in sports, I just have a competitive nature. So, like, even if I was the second best guy on the football team or baseball team, like, what the fuck? Why am I not first? Like, or if I am the best on the team, I'm like, we play a different team and this guy's better than me. Like, why? Like, it bothered me.
I feel that.
It was just competitive nature more than it's not so much that, like, I fucking cried myself to sleep every night, because that's by no means accurate. But it's like, I know there's somewhere out there better than me, and it bothers me, and I want to be better. So it's more so competitive nature that kind of, it's insecurity that manifests as a competitive nature. But it's just not being good enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's for me too. I just want to be the best, absolute best of everything. And I want to know everything. That's how I am. Like, I just want to know everything, and I want to be the best at it all. And the thing is, we were talking about confidence earlier. I'm the most confident ever, like, ever. And I haven't been this confident in my life, but it's only getting bigger, which I think is a good thing.
It is.
I think I was going to say, I think you have to earn it. I think you have to earn the confidence, and at first you can fake it, but everyone can tell when it's fake. And the biggest thing is, once you're truly confident in yourself, everything just follows. Everything follows, because I always believed in myself enough to even get to where I'm at right now. And I believe in myself enough to get to where I'm going to be in 20 years or 5 years, whatever it is. But that's how you can attract so many things in your life But the biggest thing is a lot of people just think that they just got to be confident based on what they've already done. Bro, be confident based on the things that you haven't even done yet, but you know you're going to do it. Be confident in the person that you will be, because the person you will be is the person you are, if you think about it, right? It's all about what?
I know I'm big on Russ, and I know you're big into music, so I don't know how much you digest his stuff.
I've read his book, actually. Yeah, that was
Russ is the GOAT, bro. I listen to his music more than any music ever. It's what if I listen to music, it's pretty much him. Because I like his lyrics and I like his way of thinking. And he's big on like, you should know how good you are, but mentally in your head, think you're 1,000 times better than that. Because sometimes you need delusional self-confidence to take the actions you probably shouldn't take to get to where you probably shouldn't be. Like, as in you go further than you thought you would because you thought you were so good, you do those things, right?
Yeah, I read that. It's all delusion until it isn't delusional at all.
Yeah. And I think it takes, again, self-awareness. Like it just as a whole, like when you're in social situations, you're in rooms. Like I learned this when I go to masterminds and around people that make way more money than me. Like when you're the smartest in the room, you gain status by talking. And when you're not the smartest in the room, you gain status by shutting the fuck up and listening.
That's a quote right there.
And to be the person who's the smallest fish in the room and you're bragging about how much you make, it makes you look so inferior and so like not intelligent. Like I've had people like, again, and it's fine. Like it's good amount of money, whatever. I've had people be like, yeah, bro, I'm making like $8,000 a month right now. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, and they're like bragging to me about how much they make. And then like,
right, guys, that shows how much he makes in a way. Like we already know it's a lot more than that.
And like, I've done it too, being like ignorant. Like when I was like a few years younger, or not even 3 years younger, this was already fucking last year, bro. Like I think when you're moving so fast, you evolve so fast. Like literally last year I was at this mastermind. And I was like, yeah, bro, we're making like 50,000 a month right now. And he's like, oh, like, that's nice. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I just like met him outside of the match. He's like, yeah, bro, we're doing like 900, like 950 a month right now. Like we're kind of just picking up. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I am so poor. And I was like bragging to this guy, and I just realized like you gain status by shutting up in rooms where you should shut up in, and you lose status by talking in rooms you shouldn't talk in.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
What's the best way for these people that are watching this to up their network and actually get respect from people that are higher level than them, even though they're not on that level yet?
Have something of value and do it for free. Like that's it. It doesn't matter what it is. And don't say, hey, bro, how can I provide you value? Because you've already lost. Like,
yeah, because you had to ask. You shouldn't have had to ask. You should have brought it.
Yeah. Like if you have someone you look up to, like it doesn't matter who it is. And it depends on the context of like what you're into. Right. But like if you look up to someone, like don't say, hey, bro, how can I provide you value? Because it literally is costing them effort and thinking to say, what do I need? And then talking with them on, hey, do you have this thing? And then, oh yeah, I can do it for you. But then can I pick your brain? Like you already lost. So if you're good at video editing, if you're good at what, like for me, like I know sales, that's the thing that I know. So when I have like how I got my client that makes $250 million a year, bro, that is so far out of my sphere of like where I'm at right now. I was like, listen, bro, like I already got on a call with one of your sales guys. I recorded the whole call. I transcribed the sales script. I made a couple adjustments here. This guy literally didn't follow up with me, and I said I was interested. And yes, I was wasting your sales guy's time, but I rewrote the sales script for you. And I have another sales guy that you should interview that I think will crush, and I'll give it to you literally for free. And
did you ask for anything after, or you just let it go?
No. There's an interesting scale. They did psychology studies on this. And I got this from Alex Ramosi, but basically there's a scale from give and get. Like most people in the world are transactional in the sense of I give Blake something, he gives me something back. Now we're cool. We're on the same page. And then there's like the other scale. So that's like 0. And then 10 is like, I give everyone everything and I get nothing in return. 8 on that scale of like, you're mostly giving more than you're getting. On that scale is the point where you get the maximum in return, is 8 on that scale.
People feel like they should do something for you just because you did it.
Yeah, it's the law of reciprocity. It's why when you're about to pay at a restaurant, they give you mints because you're about to write in how much money you're going to give them, and they're like, oh, here's this. Like, here's these mints. Like, here's these chocolates. Here's these, like, fortune cookies or whatever. It's like conveniently at the time where you're writing how much money you're going to give them, they give you something for free. Like, that's not an accident. Restaurants are intelligent. So it's law of reciprocities, and I just overwhelm you with value. Like, whether it's like if you're a video editor and you look up to like Russ or something, hey bro, I went through literally like 10 of your YouTube videos and I already made short form content. I have like 50 different short form videos for you. Wanted to give these to you completely for free. And there's no ask, because the second there's an ask, you ruin the whole fucking giving, because it became transactional.
What if it's ask? Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
If it's like game recognizes game, and if the person that you look up to is an A player and they're a genuine person, they will give back, because if your shit is good, right?
Yeah. And I was going to ask, like, what if you were asking them, what's a problem you have, or something like that? I'm not saying that I don't really know, but I'm asking for a lot of these other people because I know they're trying to figure out what the problem of that person is. Do you think that would come across good or bad? Being like, what's the biggest problem you have right now?
Yeah. Again, like you didn't do your research. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You should have found the problem in advance.
Yeah.
Found the problem and then come with the solution.
Find the problem first. So like, if that's like, it depends what you're into, right? Like, if you like making music, like I know you like making music, right? So if you have an artist you really aspire, you really look up to, hey bro, I looked at all the different, like you're a producer and you're trying to land a big client, big artist, right? It's like, yo bro, like I looked at all your songs that were the best performing and they had like this type of beat. I'm a producer. I sent you like literally 10 different beats, like perfectly mixed that align with kind of like your voice. And I think you would crush on these. Wanted to give you these to you like completely for free. Like, let me know your thoughts.
Exactly. That's great. A lot of people are going to learn a lot from this podcast. I'm really grateful you came on, like, for real.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Anytime.
One of the biggest things I was going to say about the networking thing as well is don't come at them like a fan. Who wants to work with their fan?
Yeah.
You should come at them as a peer, because that shows that you feel like you're on that level at least. That just, like, the energy is different. I was just going to say that. That's a big one. You can still be a fan in a way to where, like, you give them homage or credibility, but by, like, saying, or credit, not credibility, but, like, to the point where you're like, I like this content. Thank you for posting this, whatever. Obviously, giving them a little compliment, it feeds their ego a little bit, is good. I don't do it just for that reason. I do it because I mean it, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to meet people eye to eye. Because again, if you meet someone you look up to, you're like, hey, bro, can I get your autograph? Can we get a picture together? It's like, bro, in their brain, like, you're way down here.
Bro, you chose to take a picture with me instead of asking me a question that could have changed your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I feel.
You got to meet people eye to eye. Like, again, like, I keep going back to Russ because I love this motherfucker. And I'm not in music, so I don't really, couldn't really do much for each other, probably. But, like,
it helps, bro. That book was helpful, I'm sure.
Oh no, that book was fire. But like, if I'm a producer and I'm going up to Russ, I'm not saying, hey bro, can you give me an autograph? It's, listen, dude, like right now I've been making music for 2 years and you've been making music for 15 years. Like, you clearly know something that I don't, but I'm getting a lot of traction. I'm just curious, when you're at this point in your career, what was one thing you did that kind of gave you like hockey stick growth? He's like, oh, okay. Like, this guy, he's not where I'm at, but he's hungry and he's gonna be here. If it's, hey bro, can I get an autograph? I'm scared to ask a question, I run away. Like, you're like way down here again.
Yeah, and then acting like you know everything is never gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I know damn well I don't know everything. I have a lot to learn, but at the same time, I know that I know something that I feel like I can bring something to the table. You have to know that. I was gonna bring up the fact that Russ is a artist, producer, engineer. So he mixes his own vocals, he makes beats, he knows how to do all that. And I do the same thing. I can do all of it. And it took me years to do that. But the reason why I bring that up is because it goes for any type of job or skill, whatever it is. if you learn the surrounding skills as well as the main skill, then you're gonna immediately have a advantage on your competition because you understand so many different aspects of that area. You know what I mean? So what knowing how to produce beats makes it to where I can chop things a certain way better than like another artist, where he doesn't even think of those possibilities because I understand. Plus, I also know, and me and Russ both also know whenever it's our fault for the delivery or if it's the engineering, like the vocal mixing. Like you can tell at that point, because I've seen a lot of artists, like I've recorded with artists, I've had them record here and made money off of it and stuff like that. They'll come in and they'll think that it's my fault, but I can tell as an engineer when it's their fault. You know what I mean? But that takes practice of learning all those extra skills. So what do you think about that in sales? What are those compounded skills that help you? What are some surrounding things that you know about?
Yeah, I mean, the compounding of skills is literally how you level up in life. So it doesn't matter what you're interested in. Like if you're like a personal trainer at like a gym or something, right? Like you learn a little bit and then you're like, oh, okay. And like now I'm managing the gym. And then you like learn how to kind of manage people. And then you learn how to like you learn how to run a whole business in the financials, then you can own a gym. And then you can own like a whole like chain of gyms, right? Like there's scale to it, right? So if you are like, if you're like Jay-Z, bro, like he didn't just start a fucking label day one. Like he learned, okay, this is how you sing, and like, oh, this is how you rhyme, and you kind of have a rhythm. And then it's like, oh, this is how you make a beat. And it's, oh, this is how you make a beat, and this is how you kind of sing along. Like, oh, okay, like this is how you like market your actual music to like get views and like, you know, get listens, get plays. Like, okay, like now I learned this game. Like, okay, now this is how you put other artists on. You understand the business side of things. Like, and then, oh, suddenly we have a fucking $1 billion net worth, right? So it's kind of the same thing with sales. Like appointment setting is that base level skill. It's how do I get person who raised their hand to like get them on an appointment? Like that's base level one. And then it's okay, now that person who did get on an appointment, how do we get them to actually close? Like that's closing. That's kind of that secondary skill. And then kind of the skill above that is understanding how to manage salespeople. What is like a sales manager? Like we have sales managers inside the closing Bible that manage sales teams on rev share. They'll get like 5% of however much the sales team makes, make like 30, 50 grand a month. Like
from what again?
Managing sales teams. So instead of like when you're a sales guy, it's like, hey, you get 10% commission for every deal you close. But when you manage the sales team of the setters and the closers, a business owner might say, hey, we'll give you 3% or 5% of the revenue that you generate from the sales team because you're managing them. And you get, you know, basically a piece of the pie of the whole damn business, and you can make a lot of money if you're good at that. So kind of the compounding of skills and sales kind of looks like that. And I could get more granular if you want me to, but
go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go like appointment setting, closing, like sales manager, that's about as basic as it gets. That's like in a nutshell, like busser, waiter, like manager of a restaurant, like kind of same vibe.
Now people are going to get it a little bit.
Yeah. So, that's kind of like what that looks like. So I think as a whole, like the appointment setting is like it's like the entry level position. So you can get an appointment setting job with literally no experience whatsoever. As long as you show you're hungry, like you can get an appointment setting job, right? And you can make phenomenal. Like we have appointment setters that make $8,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month.
It's all about the company, and then if the leads are provided, stuff like that.
Yeah. Make phenomenal amounts of money there. But then I think like psychology and persuasion as a whole, like you could obviously a lot of books I read. I'm reading one right now called.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like some American Psycho shit, man. No, what's that book called?
Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. This guy is a wizard. He's very, very intelligent. And I think persuasion as a whole is probably the most valuable skill that you could possibly learn. Because bro, it's how you can.
Because all money is you're persuading people to pay you.
Yeah, like at first it's like getting someone to hire you as persuasion, and then getting like a raise as persuasion, and then
obviously you're gonna have to perform, but still, like that's the initial part of getting the job.
Yeah, but you'll also notice that there's people that are less qualified in positions and they're making more money than other people. And it's not because maybe they're better at the thing, which is of course is the easiest way of getting better, is getting good at the thing. But like, oh, this business owner just really likes me. Like, he really resonates with me. Like, oh, he's making more. It's like, bro, that's half of what life is like selling yourself to people. So if it changes at different levels, but at first that's, again, selling to an employer that you're worthy of doing the job. And then it's selling them on a raise. And then it's like, if you start your own business, it's obviously selling to like customers, selling to clients. And then as you build a team and have employees, it's selling your employees on your vision and selling them that it's worth it to be here. And it's selling them that there's growth in this opportunity. And at different levels, when you go to exit, your business, it's selling to investors that it's worth this much money, selling them on you that you have your shit together. And then eventually, once you sell your business for 20, 50, $100 million, it's selling to investors. It's going to be worth more money down the road. So
exactly, man. That psychology is the basis of most things you're doing. I mean, that's why my interest in psychology took me pretty far, even till now.
Yeah.
Because I always was interested. Why? Just ask why. If you start asking why about like really everything, you'll figure a lot of things out. But a lot of people don't question anything. That's their problem. They don't question anything. So it's just, you're never really learning. You think that you know. But I don't know anything. That's the thing about knowing, is you don't know anything.
Yeah. There's some quote from a philosopher, I think it's like Aristotle or something, where it's like the more that I know, the more that I realize I know nothing.
That's crazy, because I said that the other day.
Yeah. Were you Aristotle or what?
I guess so, man. I feel like I'm reincarnated Aristotle, man. Something like that. Now, how many cold showers did you have to take to figure that out?
0.
Oh, you didn't take any?
No,
that's the thing. They all of these people are on. If you don't know why I said that, by the way, everyone, is because people on like the money Twitter space or whatever, in entrepreneurship, they always talk about cold showers and meditation, and that's like the only way to get rich.
Yeah. It's funny. There's always like this like millionaire morning routine. They're like, wake up at fucking 3:30, like meditate for an hour, read 6 books, like take 4 cold showers.
I need to do a reaction video to those. That would be hilarious.
But yeah, I've never been big on those too much. I took like 2 or 3 and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm just cold as fuck and it's early. Like, I just want to go work.
I'm just cold. Man, that's all that you got out of it, is you got cold. No, I'll do it every once in a while. At the very end, I'll just turn it on cold, and it kind of like might make me wake up a little bit. But most of the time, I'd rather just be hot. But I guess we already went into it. But how did it really start? Like the closing Bible, how did it really start?
Yeah. So with Carlos, like, I mean, he made $500,000 in like 90 days. And like, I was like, okay, look, there's like proof of concept. Like, I did work for free and I made someone a lot of money. I kind of feel like I'm owed money a little bit here. So that was definitely part of it. And then again, like, I just had these 2 parties of people, like, both asking me for stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll give this person what they want and I'll give this person what they want. And I'll have these 2 people like me in the middle. So that's in a nutshell, like how it really got started. But also like with the sales team that I was currently on, like where I was saying I was making, $25,000 a month or so, like it was a financial consulting offer and the business was making like $150,000 a month. They're like a smaller business. I say that's like $1 million a year. So it's not bad. But they were like, their close rate, as in like,
you just said not, wait, hold up. I just got to say, he just said not bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not bad. They make $1 million a year. And
it's light. There's levels of the game.
I just want people to realize that, because it shows where you're at, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I forget that's not normal. Like I really do. Like, and I'm like, oh, like $100K a month. Like, they're kind of getting started. Like they're getting wheels now. Like they have a team. Like they kind of got something going on. But like there's levels of the game. Like there's people making, like the guy that I'm going to see is $250 million a year. Like he would laugh at someone that makes $1 million a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you need me to come with you to translate to everyone.
But yeah, so it's kind of like how it happened. I guess long story short, was just people were asking. So yeah, I had like 5 clients that I took on for like a really low price. And I'm just like, hey, like I did this once for this one guy. Like I'm not making any promises, but like this is like my track record, and everyone was on board. We got people really good results. They just started telling people about the results that they got. Business owners were telling, other business owners about like how good the salespeople were because I trained them. And it kind of just snowballed, dude. Like it snowballed very aggressively, just basically off of like referrals and like word of mouth. And I'm like, all right, like we're
That's the
getting
most
people.
powerful way. I've noticed whenever I was working at an insurance company, they were talking about how the close rates for referrals were way higher.
Very high. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even finish my story about the business. So anyway, yeah, that was the bulk of the reason why I kind of started it, was because they were making like 150 grand a month, which I said was light. And their close rate was like 25%, which that means basically 1 in 4 people that got on the phone were paying. And I thought that was pretty dang low. And they gave me like a sales script, as in like the words that you're supposed to say on the call. And I looked at it and there was like 12 pages. And I'm like, I'm not reading that shit. Like it's too long. Like it's the stuff on here just isn't good, from my experience of things. And it kind of made the sales manager mad. And he's like, all right, bro, like you can do your little thing for like a month. And if it's not working, you got to do what this stuff says. And if you don't close deals, like you're not staying on the team. And I'm like, okay, cool. Month 1, I had a 50% close rate, which was double what theirs was. And I wasn't saying anything of what they were saying. And I did like $150,000 in sales myself, not including the other sales guys on the team. So I did what the whole business did the month before by myself, not saying the stuff that they were saying. And I had a 50% close rate, which is double what theirs was.
You're a legend, bro.
And thank you. I got room to work, but yeah. So they were like, okay, like might've been a fluke. We do it again. I had a 60% close rate the next month, and I did like 170K in sales or something. And they're like, damn, like, all right, maybe this guy knows something. So they're like, hey, like, show us some of your sales call recordings. Like, tell us what you're saying on these sales calls. So I trained like the other 2 salespeople on the sales team and the sales manager, funny enough, on what I was saying. I gave them my script. I trained them on what I was saying and why I was saying it and all this stuff. And then, like, not to say that I was the only reason the business grew, but I was a pretty big proponent in it. Like, fast forward 6 months, we're doing like $500,000 a month, like 600, 700K a month. And I'm like, dude, I just did all this for free. Like, obviously I got paid as a sales rep, but everything I did to scale the whole business and sales team, I did for free. So I'm like, okay, like I know a thing or two about managing sales guys and getting them to perform. Like, I know how to close, so I know how to get other sales guys to close. So like, that's quite the case study. And then I made Carlos $500,000. I'm like, all right, bro, like, I think most of my talent would just be best served like doing what I did for free twice. And then that's just kind of how it all started. So
that's crazy, man. That reminds me of Hormozy, man. Alex Hormozy, how he talked about he was making no money anymore. It was like breaking even for so long. His story is crazy. I love it. But then he always goes and talks about how then he figured out he could make a ton of money from just teaching other companies how to scale theirs. Instead of so hard focusing on his own, he started just consulting. So that's a big one. I was gonna ask, when it came to that script, do you, or any script really for closing, it seems like you don't like to have exact scripts, but I don't know if I'm wrong, but like,
you're right.
I'm the same way. I like it to be an outline. Even for the notes for the podcast, I like it to be an outline so I can just topics instead of exact words. How are you with that?
Yeah. So I like a loose, like kind of skeleton idea of things. I don't like it to be
like a roadmap,
word for word, say these things, because it gets too robotic. And the fact of the matter is, like, Blake's terminology and my terminology is simply different. So if I were to write out every single word for you, it would sound robotic because you don't talk like that. And no one talks like I talk. No one talks exactly the same as another person talks. So it's in your best interest when you're writing out a sales script to understand why that word is there, like why that question is there. Because if you can understand why it's there in the first place, you can understand the purpose behind the words. And if you understand the purpose behind the words, then they will know what to say because they have the goal in mind in that section of the call. So I think that's just innately the way my brain works. Like, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Tell me why. And when you tell me why, then it clicks in my head. So like, that's how I am with, bro, the news, like everything. I'm like, tell me why.
I'm the same way, bro. I ask so many questions, you know, I want to know. I don't like to do anything I don't understand the reason for. I really hate it. That's why I left the company I was with, you know, they can't answer my questions of why, then I don't want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's no way, shape, or form that like I'm incompliant or I refuse to do what other people tell me to do. It's like if something is a way, like I'm all for it. I just want to know why so I can do the thing to the best of my ability.
It's it makes it have purpose. I like to have purpose behind everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're just aimlessly wandering. You're just doing what someone told you to do, which is no different than a 9 to 5.
Yeah. And the words in the script like hold more impact when you like understand like why it's there.
And there's no problem with 9 to 5s, by the way, if you're like, it's just not me. All right. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have a team of 8 people and I could not survive without them. They are essential.
Exactly. We talked about network. I believe it and I know you believe it, but you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around most, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just, and that's kind of one thing I was saying about kind of like auditing your circle, right? Like if you were to take the 5 people that you spend the most time with and write out like 4 different, I think it's 4 different things, which is like the quality of their relationships, the quality of their health, their finances, and just like spiritually, like how they feel inside as a person. And you were to rate all of those on a scale from 1 to 10 and take those averages in those 4 categories, that's probably what yours is. And like if the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, I thought that was so corny. And then I like found out, oh wait, this is absolutely true.
It's so true.
And then I literally like, I was like, all right, whatever. And then someone told me to do that practice of like, get these 4 things and like category, like rate basically each categories of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I'm like, damn, like that is about exactly what I would rate myself.
Yeah. It's because like they set the standard of what makes you an outcast and what doesn't in your own friend group. And most people don't want to be the outcast of their friend group. So they kind of work to fit in, whether that's fitting in on a higher level or fitting in on a lower level. So I like to talk to people like you that are in the, like where I want to be, at least closer to where I want to be, at least, you know? So that's the only type of people I would want around me. They have to have qualities that I want.
Absolutely. And I think one of the best things I ever did in life was like, bro, like when I was doing those 200 cold calls a day or whatever, I would like do all that. And then I'd be like, I'd run out to my roommate and be like, bro, I just made $400. Like, and he's like, cool, bro. Like, let's smoke. And like, we're just sitting on the couch, like smoking a blunt. And I'm like, yeah. And I just like fall into it. Cause I'm like, okay, like that's what we're doing. So, okay. Like that's what my people do. And then every time I'd be like 2 PM and I'd be like, oh bro, I just made $200. And he's like, oh dang. So you can chill for the rest of the day. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's how people think. That's exactly how people think. They got the work done and now I can chill. I think they just keep going, man.
Yeah. And it took like realizing that, like it took realizing that I outgrew the people that I was around, to just kind of isolate myself. I just got my own crib, like got my own place. Like I was like, I'm good at something. And like, bro, I don't have a circle that serves me. Like, you know, I was not in the best place, like in the world by any means necessary. Like there was a point to where I was going to raves and EDM shows and stuff all the time. And I was doing the things that people do at EDM shows a lot. And like, I by no means had like a problem, but I was definitely wilding out in my degenerate phase. And it took me just realizing like, bro, all my friends are bums. And like, I need to get away from this shit. Like
By the way, that's the equivalent of a hoe phase for a guy most of the time.
Absolutely, bro.
It's a degenerate phase.
Yeah. So, and I think it took me realizing that like all my friends were bums. And like, if I'm going to not be a bum, I need to get away from all the bums. Right. So exactly. I just literally isolated myself. And I'm like, I know I have potential, but when I'm around these people, anytime I do something that brings me up, they pull me down. So I need to just get my own space and isolate myself and then come back to the world when I'm ready to like re-show my value and who I am. And then I naturally found my circle and everything was up from there.
Yeah, man. What's the best way to build a valuable network for these people that are, you know, not here?
Genuine curiosity, dude. Like I remember
that
like
takes you far. Very
far, bro. Like I remember I was at some party at some college and this dude, like, it's like 3 a.m. and we're in the kitchen and he's like yo, dude, like, look at this. And he shows me his phone and it said he made $60,000 in a month. And I was kind of like, bro, if this idiot can make 60 grand in a month, like I can figure some shit out for sure. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, drop shipping. And I was like, huh, okay. I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I sell this product and I like do this and I do this and I make money. I'm like, whoa. I'm like,
so
okay.
You got into drop shipping too?
Yeah, bro. I tried everything.
Did it work?
No. I had like 2 sales.
He said no. I did too. I tried that.
I had 2 sales and one of them was my mom, bro. Like I couldn't sell a shit. I tried
couldn't get people on my site and like,
yeah,
I talked about this in the last one.
Yeah, which like hindsight, like I just didn't know what I'm doing, bro. It's like when I was flipping shoes, like I didn't understand that every business is like, there's like 3 departments of like every business. There's like marketing, like they need eyeballs. People need to know the thing that you have. And then sales is like getting those people that have eyeballs to like give you money. And then fulfillment is the 3rd part of every business. And it's like the people that gave you money, they need to be happy about the thing that they gave money for, right? That's the game. Yep. So I'm like, I was just like, you make a website and you like get a product and you have a nice logo and you just make money, bro. Like I didn't get how everything, like every component and how everything came together.
But you have to just go for it and figure it out. And that's how you got to where you are, because you actually tried this stuff.
Yeah. Because I got put in some group chat with all these like people that do drop shipping. And I had this one dude DM me, he's like, yo, bro, like, thanks for joining the group. Like, what do you got going on? Where you from? And we live like 2 hours away. And bro, I was like so hungry to have people who were like, just had anything going on or interested in anything and like interested in any type of growth. I drove like 2 hours and just met up with this dude. And we've been friends for the past like 5 years, 6 years. Jack White, that's the homie. He's like my first like entrepreneur friend, and we've been close friends ever since. I actually, if you ever, God forbid, I don't even want to do this, but if you want to look at the Lone Frontier podcast, me and Jack did that when I was like, didn't know shit. I probably sound.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
you're gonna be famous, bro. I'm just letting you know, like famous.
I appreciate it. I got to look back at those because those are probably hard to watch, but it'll definitely show how far I've came.
Yeah, absolutely. People are going to be looking at this podcast as an OG podcast too. Like how I was going to say one of these questions was how impactful is it to you to be intentional about the words you use, like the vocabulary? And that could be in life, but also sales, because sometimes even in relationships. I'll let you
phenomenal question, for real. I'm like anyone in my circle knows how important this is to me. Like
the same for me. So
the people that are like around me, like I'm like Hitler on the words that they say. Like I'm like, I don't
am too. Don't say you need something if you don't need it. That's one of my biggest things. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't let people talk down on themselves around me. I don't let myself talk down about myself around me. Like even if it's like joking, right?
It's
like
subconsciously affecting.
Yeah. Because like but anyway, yeah, like I'll like me, like my mom, like my parents, they came and visited like recently, and my mom's like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And I'm like, stop. Like, don't even say that shit. She's like, what? I'm like, oh, like I'm such an idiot. Like I just forgot this. I'm like, yeah. Now your brain like has to force itself to find information in the world to agree with the fact that you're an idiot. So now you will subconsciously create mistakes to prove to your brain that you are an idiot. Even if it's, oh, I was just joking. I was just like saying this, like, no, like, oh, I suck so bad at this. And it's like, now your brain is working to find information to prove to you that you suck at this thing. And it's a very vicious cycle that just pulls you downward. And even if it's a joke, and if it's whatever, it doesn't fucking matter because you said it.
I'm so glad you understand. I'm so glad. I already knew you did, but that was an incredible answer. I can't lie. So what are some examples of words that you use, maybe in a sales setting, but maybe just in life, that you had to change to get better?
Just like half-assed like language. I don't know. Like I like even on sales calls, but like I used to do it too. Like, yeah, like I maybe think it would probably be like a good idea if I started like doing this thing. Like, fuck that. No, like I am going to start doing it. Like,
yes, bro.
I have started doing this thing. Like, this is what I'm doing, and I've started it, and this is what's happening. Kind of just like definite like language.
Yeah.
Or like
it makes you sound more sure of yourself, but also it makes you more sure of yourself, and it makes you have to like live up to what you're saying.
Yeah. Another thing is very basic, but just like not lying like at all, because like you like lying about a thing is like just validating to your brain that you're further from it than you actually are. So if you say like, oh yeah, I make 10K a month, I make 15K a month, bro, and you don't, you're pushing that further away from yourself and you're putting it on a pedestal. It's like this, like fake it till you make it bullshit is like literally like what's holding you back from not making it. And I think it takes like, yeah, bro, like I don't got shit going on right now, but I'm hungry. Like that's so much better than, oh, I make this much money, but I don't, or anything, right? Like, so I think just genuinely like cutting lying as a whole will make you feel so much better about yourself and so much better about your conscious. You'll just genuinely feel better. So probably.
And that's the thing about this brand, man, is it just puts that on me. I have to be honest. And like every once in a while, who knows, might slip up or something. But the truth is, like, I'm always wanting to be at that standard where I'm constantly truthful. Like, I don't want to ever be in a position where I'm not, because that's really, I think if everyone was more honest with each other, the whole world would be a better place, man.
Yeah. And last thing, because it's on my mind, if then statements, you need to stop. Like, if like once I make this much money, then I'll be happier, bro. Like once summer hits, like then I'll be in a good mood.
No, that's it. Especially the once then statements. It's like people always say that. They're always like, yeah, that's just gonna hold you back. You're never gonna do it, man.
Yeah, and that's why I move away from a lot of the like cold showers and meditation and all that shit. Because although it is very beneficial, like there are benefits to it. Yes, saying like I can only work if like I have my cold shower. I can only work if I do my 10 pages. I can only work if I do this. So then what you're doing is you're writing a contract with the universe that states that I can't unless. So you're literally creating deficiencies for yourself.
Amazing.
Which is very like, it took me a little bit to kind of grasp. But the whole, like just kind of saying like, I will be happy once this thing happens, is writing a contract with the universe that you will never be happy until that thing happens.
That's crazy. I always say that. I always say, even if that happened, you're not going to be happy, because if you think about it, if you can't be happy in the moment, you'll never be happy, because you're only ever going to be in the moment your entire life.
Yes, sir.
You know? So what's the most surprising thing you ever learned, bro?
Damn. The most surprising thing I ever learned, just like in general?
In life. And then I'm going to go into the other one, which is sales.
Damn, that's a hard question. That's a really hard question. I don't even know. I might have to pass on this one. That's fucking hard. Like I
go with sales first, because I know you got something in sales.
Yeah, bro. The most surprising thing I learned about sales is just that like the more you push people away from buying, the more they want to buy, was the hardest break for me. Like being detached from the outcome of needing the sale. Cause like when I was like broke and like I was doing those 200 dials in like my 400, 500 a month apartment, whatever it was. And like, I'm just trying to like pay rent cause it's due tomorrow. And I have like $50 in my bank account. And I'm trying to decide, do I do calls or do I DoorDash? You know what I mean? Like, I talked to my sales manager. I'm like, send him a recording. And I'm like, bro, like, why can I not close? He's like, you're so attached to the outcome. Like you need to detach from the money. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. I got rent to pay. Like you got 30 million in the bank. Like, of course you're detached from the outcome.
Of course.
And I'm like, and he's like, bro, you need to detach from the outcome. And I'm like, what? Like this guy's an idiot. Like, what's he talking about? But yeah, it's like, the more that you need the sale, the harder that it is to get, because you have this like kind of like commission breath, which is like you need it so bad that
I love that phrase, bro. Commission breath.
Because what it does subconsciously in people's minds is say, this dude needs the sale so bad. Maybe it's because they don't have very many clients, don't have very many customers. Like they probably don't have very many customers because they're not good at what they do. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. That's the like mental thinking track that you put prospects or leads or, you know, whatever on. So in the same length, and this can go like translate to like relationships and like getting girls and like all that stuff, right? It's the exact same thing with not needing the sale. It's just like, if someone's like says, you know, I want to buy beats from Blake, and you're like, yeah, bro, really busy right now. Like I'm not quite sure you're the type of artist I want to work with. They're like, nah.
Now they really want to be that guy.
They're like, no, like, bro, like I've done this. I got, 10,000 a monthly Spotify plays. I got this. I got featured in this playlist. And you're like, yeah, bro, like, I don't know. Like, show me one of your best performing songs. Like, I don't know if it makes sense. And they're like, bro, look at this. Like, it's fire. Trust me. And you're like, I usually don't work with artists like you, but you did, say you hit this. Like, I guess we could maybe work something out. Like, I could do a beat for like 500. So like, if you push them away and you're like, yeah, bro, I don't know. And they have to like qualify themselves on why they deserve to buy your service.
Bro, you're the sales legend, bro.
Like,
that was like the biggest thing that I got out of even learning from you was the push and pull, which I already knew about in like other life situations. But whenever I heard you say it, it just like I technically knew, but whenever you said make them have to qualify for you, it's like they're trying to prove themselves to you just to pay you.
Yeah.
But the whole time you just set it up and reframed it, even though the whole point was you got on the call because you wanted them to buy your stuff.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines or quotes, I guess quoting myself, is no one works their whole life to get into Harvard and then doesn't pay because it's too expensive.
I heard you say that one too. I like that one. It's true. That's so good. It's basically them closing themselves.
Yeah. Makes sales very easy when it turns into a job interview instead of a sales call.
That is the biggest gem ever to me. Oh my God. One of the biggest things, what is the most common mistake you always see? In general, I would say in general, no. What's the most common mistake you see in sales? Because you train a lot of people, and I know you have seen it all.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the biggest thing is the expectation that they're owed something. They're like, because they did a certain amount of calls, they should make a certain amount of money, or because they like think that they think they should be worthy of like a higher tiered position when they haven't done the work, or that's a bulk of it. And honestly, it's just like the biggest like actual tactical sales thing is just like you're attached to the outcome and like you want the sale really bad and it pushes people away.
Exactly.
The biggest thing is probably just the feeling like you're owed something, or like someone owes you something, or that you're worth more than you are when you don't have evidence to like back that up. I see that handicapping a lot of people, and the time horizon that they think on being far too short. It's like when you're thinking about next month, you're going to make next month decisions. When you're thinking about the next 24 months, you're going to be making a lot wiser decisions. So maybe that's
something Hormozy had said about time horizons that I got a lot out of. It's like, you can tell a lot about how successful someone is by their time horizons they speak in. That was his quote.
Yeah. Roughly. Like I'm looking at my whiteboard right now. I have like goals for when I'm 30. Like,
can you show us the whiteboard? You can't.
I can read it. It's have a $20 million exit, as in sell the business that I'm working on right now for $20 million by the time I'm 28. And then we have some cool stuff with like AI and like software.
Just one sale for $20 million by the time you're 28.
Well, yeah, I mean, sell.
No, I mean at least one, of course.
Yeah. So not like a sale and like closing a deal, but like selling my entire business for $20 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
makes sense. All right, continue. You had more.
What was I saying?
Oh, just the rest of the. I don't know if you had more on the whiteboard and I cut you off or not.
It's just there's some cool stuff that I can't disclose about like software and AI and cool stuff that we're gonna do in the future. So.
Yeah, man. Some of the people you've introduced me to, I'm actually blown away by the software they have. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, yeah, he's the guy that you met is like.
You already know who it is. So
he's an A player.
So the most important question of the podcast: why do you have white walls?
Why do I have white walls?
Everything's white.
Yeah, I like modern stuff, bro. Like like the house that I'm looking to buy is like modern. Like I just like modern shit. Like in Miami, like I can peek this a little bit. Like the window and stuff is like all like floor to ceiling windows, like white walls, like white and black is like just I don't know.
That's why I said American Psycho, because it just reminds me of that. Like you've seen that movie, right?
No, I don't think I have.
No way.
Swear to God,
bro. All right, watch that. I promise you, that's one of the best movies ever. Patrick Bateman. He's just like, you've definitely seen memes about him, something, but you'll have to watch it, bro. You'll laugh especially after you've watched it, about what I'm talking about. I have a few more, and then we're good. The least sexy job you ever had. What is it?
I worked nights at a factory packaging dog food for Temptations was the name of the business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, how was that packaging? Was it like not one of the conveyor belts or something?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Wow. How much did you get paid for that?
Not enough. I would get there at like 10 p.m. and I'd work there until like 4 a.m. I did that for I think like 2 months when I was broke and didn't have any money.
Oof. That one sounds like.
Yeah, I made like $250 in like every week or something.
Yeah, that's nothing. Look at you now. You're making all this money from doing. I feel like you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I love what I do.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. What's the most sexy job you've had? And maybe you have it right now.
I'd probably say I have it right now. It's pretty phenomenal. I was a lifeguard. Maybe that tops it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. You were a lifeguard?
Yeah. I mean, bro, I started working when I was like in 4th grade. I was like mowing lawns and stuff.
We also did that. I was gonna say that. Me and my friend Alex that lives here. He actually started a company, built up a big client base back where I'm from in Tulsa, and we created. I just worked with him. I didn't help create that, but it was pretty cool. It was
like a landscaping company?
It was just little lawn care. We would mow the lawn. We had a leaf blower. We would feather it out, make it look good. I would usually be mowing, and he would do
the weeding,
like most some of it, and he would weed eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire. Yeah,
and we would go eat Mexican food, and we would be working right next to. It was fun.
Yeah, to give you the coolest answer for sexiest job I did was probably, I want to say I was like 15 or 16, maybe. I think I was like 16. I was in high school, and I was working at a sandwich shop, which was not the sexy part. Working like a sandwich and ice cream place, and like, bro, like the business didn't even have enough money to like actually pay me my wage and stuff. It was awful. Small town shit. But anyway, they like, I knew some people that came in there that were on like the school board, and they were talking about how in the restaurant about how, and this just goes to like seeking out opportunities and being hungry. They mentioned how the school was getting a grant. It was like 30 minutes away from where I lived. They were getting a grant to where they were getting new MacBooks every single year, and they'd have to start selling their MacBooks to the public. And I was like, hey, like, actually, like, I need a computer. Like, how much are you going to sell them for? Like, we don't know. Like, we're not really too worried about the money, because like the grant literally pays for like the new computer. It's like, you want it for like $250 for a MacBook that was used for 1 year. What? And I was like, yeah, actually, like, no, I've been saving up some money. Maybe I could surprise my family. And bro, I think I'm like 15, 16. Like, they probably knew I was lying, but I was like, maybe I'd get like 4 and like surprise my family and like get them all like MacBooks. And I'm like, they're only 1 year used and everything. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we'll just bring them back here. Like, if you have cash or something, like, you here next week, well, we worked it out. I got 4 of them. And I was like, let's go. Like, I'm about to make some cash, bro. Cause like when I was a lifeguard, I'd make like maybe 2,000 the whole like summer. Like, it was crazy. Like, I got paid nothing. It was crazy. So I flipped these MacBooks. I was charging like $1,000 each. And I sold like 3 of them and kept 1. And I made like whatever that is in profit. And bro, I felt like the richest kid on the block. I felt like a fucking god.
So fire, bro. How old were you at that time?
Like, that was like 15 or 16. I had my driver's license, so I was probably 16.
Damn, you were a hustler, man, from a young age.
Yeah.
When did you consider yourself successful in the first place?
It's hard. Probably this year. I'm hard on myself, so I would maybe say like in 2022 was it. I don't know, like giving my parents like money for their mortgage, like a lot, was very self-validating that like, oh, I'm good. Like, I could not make $1 for years and I'm fine. Like, I can cover all my expenses. I can help take care of my family. I'm like, that's so more of like and I'm 22, I'm like, all right.
You're younger than me, man. I didn't even know that. I was meaning to ask you how old you are. What the hell, bro?
I'll be 23 in April, which is like less than a month away. So almost 23. But
this is the people I want around me, man. People that make me feel like I'm late. You know, I like that. That's fire. What's your biggest fear in life? Because I have a bunch of those, but not like everyone's got them, man.
I don't know. Probably like a plane crashing that I'm on. I flew to Puerto Rico a little bit ago, and I was like looking down. I'm like, bro, this is straight water. Like if I try
not to think about it.
I can't do anything. Like when I'm flying over land, I feel like a little bit safer, but
that's worse. I feel like I think in the water you could like float.
But you're stranded in the ocean. Like that's tough.
Yeah, you're right. That is crazy.
If you land on land, you might be able to like hit a cornfield and like land and be fine.
Yeah, but maybe they'll come out quickly with a little plane or something out there in the water, and you're floating nice and safe. You never know.
You never know.
I'm not trying to make you now scared of the land.
Then we got real problems. But yeah, I don't know. That was like, it's not philosophical by any means, but that's probably my biggest fear.
Do you have an irrational fear? My homie's scared of lightning, and I'm just like, bro, it's just lightning.
No.
Shout out Red.
I know one lady that's scared of windmills. That's probably the weirdest shit I've ever heard someone being scared of. Windmills, bro. She's like, it's so futuristic. Like I feel like they're like after me or something. I'm like, you're fucking weird, bro.
It's so futuristic. Dude, that's not even slightly the most futuristic thing.
No, they go so slow. Like
that's like old age stuff, bro. I know in some of the videos that I've watched, you talk about personality types, knowing personality types. I wanted you to give your 2 cents on that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So with any personality, this is like a casual conversation you're having with a buddy or a girl or someone you're trying to get hired by or whatever. There's 3 different buckets you can kind of put people in. So there's assertives, which those are more if you think like principals or like coaches or like dads or something. Like it's more someone who's a little like rammy and kind of like, I don't care about all the details, just tell me what I need to know and what do you got to do, what do I got to do, like let's do something, like very like let's go fast, like that type of person, right? Not worried about the details, just want to get shit done ASAP, and like is kind of like rammy, right? Now, some people view them as an asshole, some people view them as efficient, right? That's an assertive type. There's an analyst type, which think software developers, like IT people. These people tend to be very analytical, right? They want to know every single detail before they do anything and everything. They want to know every little nitty gritty. They will almost like research them to death before they'll go and do anything. So their potential con or like downfall is that they need to know anything and everything and they won't take action because they're living so much in the details that they just don't ever do anything. But the pros of these people is they're well educated in anything that they do, so much so that they're usually very successful at it. And then there is your accommodator, which those are super friendly. This is who I am. You know, we're going to be best friends type people, which accommodators, very friendly. So the cons of them is they're almost too talkative, as in they'll talk so much so that they'll not get anything done. And the pros of them are like, at least from a sales perspective, right? Like if they trust you and they have a good relationship with you, they're like, bro, I don't care what you're selling. I trust you. Like, let's go. So that's like kind of analyst, accommodator, assertive are like the 3 different types of personality types. And once you understand the faster that you get at spotting this, the more in rhythm you can get with people to build better connections with people as a whole. And you can understand people at a better depth once you understand from what bucket they fall into, because you talk to people in each bucket very differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. That's something a lot of people don't even think about. Mm-hmm. You can't approach everyone the same. That's what you were talking about with the companies and the scripts. You can't approach everyone the exact same way. It's not going to work. And that's how you said something about at one point your closing rate was extremely high, like 95%.
60. So it's 65%. What you're thinking about was my offer to close rate. So out of the people I gave an offer to, I closed 95% of those people.
So how did you decide who you're giving an offer to in this situation? And how did you get that closing rate so high?
Yeah, I mean, not being detached to the outcome, number one was like the biggest thing. And like, I cared more about.
You mean not being attached? You said
yes,
detached. Yeah.
Yeah. Detaching from the outcome or not being detached to the outcome. But yeah, I genuinely cared more about helping the person than I did getting them to pay me money, whether that was with or without the business, of course. So people could kind of pick up on that energy and like, all right, this is just a good guy. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it was, dude. So like I was selling, like when I was doing it, that was like a financial consulting offer. So we're like helping people with managing their money and all that fun stuff. And like, there were people that are like, you know, listen, like I have like, you know, $8,000 saved right now and my expenses are this. I'm like, I don't think you should do it. Like, I don't think you're at a good enough financial place where it logically like makes sense to like put some money in the markets. Like, I think you should keep stacking cash and like increase your cash flow. Like this just doesn't make sense. And they're like, no, we really want to do it. Like, I think you guys can help. And I'm like, sorry, like I'm not giving you an offer. Cause I can't morally or ethically like make you spend your last dollars on something that isn't actually going to benefit you. And that raw energy of just like, wow, like this guy literally makes money by getting people to pay. And he's telling me no. Made people trust me so much so that 2 months later down the road, they're like, hey, dude, I saved $30,000. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So
sick, bro.
That's what a lot of it was just knowing like who's actually going to get an ROI from the service and who isn't, and only giving the people who will give an ROI like offers.
Yeah, that's really smart, man. That's that push and pull right there.
Yep.
So I saw you ask the question on your YouTube video where you were talking to your guy that was in the closing Bible with you. What's his name? Denise?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if that's how you say it.
Yeah. He's from Turkey. It looks like Dennis, but it's Denise.
I knew it was not going to be Dennis, man.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a Dennis. No. Long hours. You asked him long hours, more money, or more freedom, less hours, less money. So I wanted to ask you the same thing because that was a good question. Because you're free, like right now. You know, you're very free. I can tell you got control over what you do. So you're at the point where you can choose to work or not. So what do you choose to do?
Work. Yeah, definitely. Like it's more work, more like it's not even equating to the money anymore, to be honest. Like I think money amplifies who you are as a person. If you're naturally not a good person, you will be more of not a good person. So you will spend your money buying cars and flexing watches and shitting on people who can't get it. And if you naturally are a good person, you're going to be giving with the money that you get. And I kind of view money as just kind of the like two different things. So number one, the tool to help give back to people, right? So that's like making sure my little brother, like not even money, like I don't want to give him money. I just want to like turn him into a killer so he knows how to make money, because that's more important than money itself. Like if I give this kid $100,000, he's just gonna like spaz out and not know what to do, and then it'll just be broke. So little things like that, they just like putting people on, like helping them out, putting them in good places, giving them money, like stuff like that is kind of why I work, how much I do. And like there's more people in the world that I need to help. Like family and close friends and shit, clients like you, bro, like you're a client, like I'm gonna make sure you're rich as fuck. Yeah, from the perspective of like, aside from that, I kind of view like I was big into sports. So I think the points on the board was the measuring stick for how good you are. And now that business is my obsession, that measuring stick is like money. So like, obviously there's other things that dictate if you run a good business on the money that you make, but it's a pretty numerical game. Like, yeah. You're either making money or you're not. So like you can kind of track directly like how good you are at the thing by how much money you're actually making.
So what's your idea of work nowadays? Since, you know, I feel like it's not as hard work as it was when you were sitting in that factory, but it's still hard. But I'm just saying it's not like that same type of work, you know.
It's different. It's not as much like hurts my back, hurts my brain, bro. Like you have to be smart as fuck to do some of this stuff. It's hard. So like that's
like the hardest thing about it then, or what you do, you know. I know maybe you can't explain all of it because you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but
yeah, but like right now, like we're trying to have the best YouTube content in the game. So like I'm spending my time paying someone $1,000 that has, you know, 1 million YouTube subscribers for an hour-long call and like, hey bro, like what are you doing? Like how do you set up your thumbnails? Like how do you do your titles? Like how do you make a video go viral? Like what do you say in the hook? Like what do you do this? What do you do that? Who do I hire? Like how big is your content team? Like how do I spot a good thumbnail like editor? How do I spot a good like video editor? Like how much do I pay these people? You have to learn so much shit when you run businesses. It's like,
yeah, there's
right.
a lot of layers.
Yeah.
You know how I am. I like to know it all. I mean, considering the music stuff, I like to know every single thing. So when it came to entrepreneurship, like in this type of stuff, it was like, damn, that's a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah.
Like, I got to know email marketing on multiple levels. I don't like to design stuff really, like, so it's a lot of things. It kind of gets overwhelming if you don't figure out, all right, I got to hone in on a couple things at a time at least. If not that, then only one.
Yeah, and that's why sales is like the best thing to do, like your first couple of years in business. Like that's how bro, when you learn for someone that's making $400,000, $500,000 a month, and it's like, all right, bro, like how do people find us? Like, how did you get them to pay this much? Like I was on the sales call, so I know how to get them to pay that much money. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah. Like, how did you how many team members do you have? Like, how much do you pay them? Like, how do you do the marketing? Like, how much do you spend on ads? Like, how did you make your website? Like, what software did you make the website on? Like, did you pay someone to do this? Did you figure it out yourself? Like, how'd you figure it out? Like, how much do you pay?
Man.
How much do you pay these employees? Like, how did you get them to do it for this much? Are they part-time? Are they full-time? Like, what are your profit margins? Like, how much do you spend on ads? Like, bro, there's just like, if you're actually curious and you get around people that make money, like by default, you'll start making fucking money. Because in sales, it's like a business is kind of like an engine, right? And in sales, you're like one gear, you're like one cylinder in the engine, but you can kind of look around and be like, well, there's so many parts in here. But like, you kind of learn once you're in that engine, then you're part of that engine long enough. You're like, okay, this is how this shit works. And when this breaks, this is how you fix it. And this is what you do. Then you zoom out a little bit and you're like, whoa, like this is how the whole fucking thing works. Like, and then you can build your own engine and it's really cool. And I think sales is the best way to learn how the engine or like how business like works.
Absolutely, man. 100%. What's the last couple things was actually like just the books that you read. And then we're going to go into what you want to plug. Unless we segue one more thing.
Yeah, for sure. Dang, best books. Let me look.
They're right there, man.
Yeah,
let me just zoom in, bro.
They're right there, right?
Get your short form content edited.
For this right here, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Very good book on like negotiation and persuasion. Chris Voss was like, he's the guy that they would call when like, you know, like the Taliban have like an American hostage and they got a gun to their head and they said, we want $1 million and we're killing this guy. He's the one who takes that phone call. Like when there's a bank heist and like, there's like someone trying to take $100 million from the US government. Like
he's got to know psychology. He's got to know sales and
he's
persuasion.
The guy who takes that call. So very insightful stuff on how he navigates getting a bank robber to just turn themselves in and not get a single dollar, or like getting a terrorist to like give up hostages and get nothing in return. Like he's the one that navigates those conversations. So number one, is just interesting as fuck, like how he navigates that. But secondly, very insightful on how you can use that in your everyday life. Cause he even talks about like, bro, how to get your rent like $500 a month cheaper, and like anything, like he's a wizard, bro. So that from like a high level negotiation book, I would highly recommend. From more of a mindset perspective that helped me a lot in my journey was like The Alchemist. Bro, this book changed a lot.
I've heard of that one.
A lot. Like read it.
I've also heard of the other one because of you, but yeah.
The Alchemist though, like changed a lot. Like my whole brain like rewired. It was crazy. It kind of just talks about how short, you know, idea or theme of the book is kind of just like keep going. It's like set in like Egyptian times, and it's this kid who's like trying to like make it and like become successful and stuff. And he has this vision of like kind of like manifestation is a lot of what's about. And it's like he sees like this vision of like this gold being buried somewhere in like the desert. And he just like travels across the whole desert to find it. And he goes through all these trials and tribulations, and like he gets his ass beat and like a bunch of people fuck him over, but eventually he gets it. And there's a lot of lessons in the book about life as a whole. And it's told in a very well-written story of how it's like when I read this book, I fucking hated reading so much, bro. Like I'm ADHD as hell, so it's hard for me to sit there and just like.
I feel you. We're on the same level when it comes to that.
But if it's a good enough book, anyone can read anything. So this was fire. The Richest Man in Babylon, also a very good book on just how to make money, like how to, like, not even how to make money, but like how to save money, like what to do with money. It's also written in like old times. Very good book on like what to do with money, that I liked quite a bit. So probably one of those three I would recommend. Steve Jobs, one more. Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. Crazy story. Like Steve Jobs is a fucking psychotic, but you got to be a little psycho to build Apple.
Bro, but he was a genius.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, my three that I always explain are The Secret. Have you ever heard of that? By Rhonda Byrne.
Is there the Netflix documentary on it, The Secret?
Yes.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like Think and Grow Rich. Very, very similar vibe.
Yeah. I've never read that, but I've heard of that. The Secret just changed a lot for me. Like I already believed that being positive made better things happen, but once I learned that even the things you even talked about and Russ talked about in his book, by the way, his book, isn't it called? It's
All in Your Head.
It's All in Your Head, and then it says get out of your own way on the front.
Yeah.
That's incredible. He talks about say I am instead of I will, and that changes everything too. So that was one of them. The second one, when it comes to finances, I recommended this on the last podcast too. I might just do it every time.
Yeah.
They might as well pay me, bro. I need an affiliate. But man, the next one is Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, bro. You need to get that book, or at least listen to it. I know you already probably got your taxes figured out, but
no.
Then I can help you. That's great.
Yeah,
I love to help people that are way better in better position than me. Yeah, bro.
I had to pay a disgusting amount of money in taxes last year. It's like March right now, so not that long ago. But yeah,
let me help you change your life, bro. Because I promise you, we got to talk about this more. But you got to read this. There's an audio book of it online for free on YouTube. And it's 9 hours straight of him just narrating it and everything. And it will teach you so much about taxes. And I've realized that, I said this in the last one, that taxes are the cheat code to making your money really work for you to the point where you never even have to work again anyway. Because the money you spend goes right back in your pocket. So we'll go into that another time. But last thing, what'd you say?
Is that what like life insurance policies? Like infinite banking and all that stuff?
You can use that, but it's not only that. There's a lot of different ways. It's all about investments. So if you were buying a house, certain things the government would really benefit from by you building the economy, they're going to reward you with tax deductions. And a lot of them can be deducted completely. And then on top of that, you can, such as a house, there's some houses that you buy are eligible for tax depreciation, which makes it go down a percentage based on the entire price of that house. And if you had only paid 20% down for that house and you got a certain percentage extra deducted off of the entire price of that house, then you made money you never even spent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to understand at first. For me, it was. And once I went into it, I was just curious. Like you said, curiosity, man, I swear it's the key. If you just are curious about this stuff, you'll figure it out. So I figured that out, and that blew my mind, because that means you're making money from money you didn't even spend, but also you're making money from the house in general, because the house is already an income stream just because you already got them paying rent, stuff like that. So that was crazy. And then I think that's I already said 3 books, so we'll just go with that. I guess my third book was just the Russ book. Have you ever read The Psychology of Money?
I don't think so, no.
I never finished it, but it's really good. All right, go ahead. Plug whatever you want to plug, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, YouTube is definitely something that we're growing. So find me on YouTube. Like Twitter is probably my most active platform.
He's gonna be a big YouTuber, I promise you.
Yeah,
big YouTuber.
YouTube. I like YouTube because it's like you can't hide anything. Like you either know your shit or you don't. On Instagram, you can like always stand next to a car, which like, bro, I don't even have a car. I don't even have a watch. Like I don't flex that shit. But like
You don't have a car?
No.
Bro, you're rich. Why don't you have a car?
I don't know. It's a waste of money. But to be fair, I ordered a Tesla and it took forever. And then it said it was going to get here. So I sold my car and then they postponed the Tesla another 4 months. And I got pissed. And I'm like, I don't have a car. And then I got used to not having a car. So I just canceled it. Saved myself like, yeah. And in Miami, it's like, there's transportation. It's like Uber.
So how are you moving around?
Uber is more convenient and it's literally cheaper than driving. Like, cause in Miami, bro, like if I take like it's like 10 minutes to get to like downtown or like South Beach, which are like the busier kind of places like Brickell. Like it takes like 10 minutes to get there, but it'll take like 20 minutes to find parking. And then parking will be like $20-$30. So if
then why don't you just be on some Casey Neistat shit and hop on a boosted board?
I'll probably bust my shit. But if I Uber, it's like $5-$10 and then I get there immediately and I don't have to wait 20 minutes to try to find a parking spot. So
did you ever skate whenever you were younger?
Nah.
Or anything like that? Bike?
I did. Like I had a skateboard for a bit. I never really knew how to skate. But I hopped on the board a few times, but I never got good.
What was those hobbies you had then?
Football, basketball, baseball was like definitely a bulk of it, and like lifting.
Yeah. You said you like music too. Did you ever like try to make music?
Yeah, I had some friends in my DJing phase that we would make, like he had boards and stuff, and like I would kind of like mix because there were just like two different songs, and like you shut off the volume on one and turn on the volume of the other and like blend them together. Like that was the bulk of what I was doing. I was like actually mixing. I don't know the whole terminology between the two, but
kind of like DJ mixing.
Yeah, kind of like DJing more than mixing probably, but I kind of did it a little bit. Making a song from scratch was way harder than like just doing that. Like obviously, but yeah, I dabble with it a little bit and I always thought it was great.
It depends on what you're good at or what you like to do, I guess.
Yeah, but I thought it was definitely cool. And it's funny enough, I told myself I would buy like boards for like a DJ like set when I hit my first like 10K month, but by then I was so locked in, I just wanted to keep working.
You should though, because you could make it some work.
Yeah,
honestly, you should get one. That would be cool.
Yeah. Right. But anywho, yeah. So YouTube, Instagram, Twitter are like kind of my main platforms, I would say. And then like if you guys
let them know the @
oh yeah, if you just look up Garrett Campbell, you'll find it. Yeah, Garrett Campbell on all 3 platforms. Like hopefully we've made a little bit of noise. I'll be top 1. I'll be the number 1 Garrett Campbell.
Number 1 Garrett. No, number 1 Garrett should be your spot you're going for, man.
Yeah, I got to crown that one right there.
All right. So anything else you need to plug, or is that it?
No, absolutely. I don't know if we can put links in bio or whatever, but if you guys want, like there'll be we'll put like a free like mini sales course. I'll give him the link. And if you guys are interested in joining the Closing Bible, it's where we give like guaranteed like offers into like high level sales roles, like working from home, like Blake is doing here. And then like high level sales training from me. I've done 6.5 million in sales, and you guys heard the fucking podcast. But if you're interested in those 2 things, we'll have 2 links down there if you're interested. So
sweet, man. It's been an honor, bro.
Yes, sir. Damn, we're at like 2 hours here. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm appreciative of that because I like to talk, and also we just gave them a gift from God.
Yes, sir.
Of just gems on gems on gems.
Yes, sir. Well, so I hope I over-delivered.
Yeah, you over-delivered, bro.
Beautiful.
Thank you to you, and then thank you to all of you for watching. And if you're not watching and you're listening, thank you for listening. Last thing I want to plug is Hurtful Trxth. If you want to buy something, I'll really put the logo on anything. So I don't really care what it is. Just let me know what you want. But it's all going to be exclusive merch. So I don't make that much of any of them. If I make more than one, then I don't make that much of any of them. So hit me up. Other thing I need to plug is Epic Water Filters, because we are partnered with this company called Epic Water Filters, which, Garrett, have you ever heard of them?
I don't believe so. I might.
You should look into them, because I'm really into filtered water that's actually filtered, not these ones they sell at Walmart, like Brita, Pure. I don't like those. They don't do enough. This company I found, because I was really looking for it. I didn't just get hit up by some company and take the money because I wanted the money. It's like I actually looked for a company that I believed in, and found this one, and I love it. They got actual water bottles. I don't have one on me, but they have actual water bottles that filter the water. Then they'll take out fluoride. Do you know what fluoride is?
Shouldn't put that shit in your body. Blacks your pineal gland.
He knows. Yeah. That's like the key to your imagination, man. And then they calcify it. That's what they call it. So to the point where they put it in all the water. They put it in other stuff too. Toothpaste. And it actually is meant to make you more of a slave because you can't think out of the box as well, if at all. So I got one in my kitchen that actually purifies my tap water, and it makes it into it. It's a dispenser. So I just dispense the water in. So use code HTPod, and you can actually get 20% off on that site, which is more than they even offer whenever you sign up for their email list, which I always say you should just go ahead and sign up for that too if you're interested. You won't regret it. Do it for your own good. Now, thank you, Garrett. I know your time is fucking money, like big money. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on, my man.
No problem, bro.